Hello again, guys. Today's story, I'm calling it the story of the three sisters. It happened in Baghdad, but the family that the story is all about is from Kurdistan. If you don't know what Kurdish people are or where Kurdistan is, it's in the northern part of Iraq. They have always been trying to declare their independence. They want to be their own country, but it's better for them to be united with whole Iraq. They are semi-Arabs, semi-Turkish, or from the Turkmenistan. It's a country above Iraq called Turkmenistan. They don't speak Arabic, but probably they learn it so they can communicate with Arabs. They have their own language called Kurdish. And this family moved, probably their dad moved for a better job in Baghdad and they reside there. The family contains the three girls. They are between 15 and 20 years old. A mom, a dad, and a younger brother. The dad was a very traditional man, like really old school man, was very tough on the family, was really aggressive, was really strict, to the point that the girls were forbidden to go to school. They always stayed at home. They never go out. They never visit any family. Eventually the family stopped visiting them because the dad had really bad morals, if I can describe him like that. I don't know if you ever meet people like that, but some people are really afraid about their girls' safety because of family reputation that I explained before, and family status in the society, where the girl can probably escape with a man or get raped or just go out with boys. So the dad was, I would call him a psychopath. This is not normal. Like the society there, the families are conservative, but not to this point where you just lock your girls up in the house their whole life. They don't even have a social skill, nothing at all. The dad would beat them up if they left the house, literally, and their mom. Years passed, the girls grew up living this life. Their son grew up and he started to go outside with his dad and work in their shop. He opened his own cafe, but he make a living out of it, just not a cafe the way we know nowadays. A small one where they serve coffee and tea. Tea is really big in the Iraqi community. It's like the British people. Anyway, the mom, with all this stress, all this sadness, and all the misery she's living in, she developed, I think, either a brain cancer or lung cancer, and she passed away, the poor mom. So the girls now took care of the house. They cook and clean, and that's all they know in their lives. Cooking and cleaning and reading and sleeping. If they thought ever that they will leave the house, their dad will break their legs, literally. So they just got used to their situation, and one day, of course, the dad is a salesman. He works in the town, and the son has his own coffee shop by the house. It's close to their house, around the corner. The sisters thought about baking some bread, homemade bread. They suggested to their father and their brother, hey, why don't we make a bread and you sell it in your coffee shop? People loved their bread because it's homemade bread. It's really well done. That's all they know how to do, and it's a fresh. People loved it more than the one that they buy from the stores. So his coffee shop made so much money, more than he usually does, because selling coffee and tea here and there for pennies is not real living. Doesn't generate that much money. And days passed, year passed, months passed, and they are like this. They never go out. They never see anybody. The youngest one now is probably 18, 19. The oldest one is in her mid-20s. And their life was like this, and they thought they will die like this. One day, the oldest daughter for some reason she woke up late, or the bread wasn't ready, so the brother had to leave quickly. He yelled at them and was mad why the bread is not ready, but he had to leave. So the 3 sisters continue baking the bread even when he wasn't at home, and the oldest one thought about, oh, it's around the corner, I'm gonna go and take it to him. It shouldn't be a big deal. It's her chance or excuse to see the street. It was that bad. As soon as she showed up with the bread, the brother took her down, beat her up. He almost broke her legs as he promised, dragged her from her hair back to the house in front of everybody. What a tragedy. She cried, she screamed, but nobody could save her because it's her brother, and the people didn't want to get involved in the middle. They tried to stop him, but he threatened them. They know how bad he is. They have a reputation, kind of. So he told her, how dare you leave the house? You know you are not supposed to leave the house. Why, we don't need the bread. I could have came back and taken it on my own. If you did it ever again, I'm gonna break your legs. And she knew he would. Anyway, he shut down the house, shut down the door, and locked it up. And he told her, if my dad knew about this, you will be dead by tonight. She begged him not to tell her dad, and he went back to his coffee shop. And of course, people witnessed everything. And one of them was a young guy from Turkmenistan. So he's Turkmani. Turkmenistan are Turkish people. It's a country east of Iraq called Turkmenistan. And it's probably the east side of Turkey where they speak Turkish. But of course they speak Arabic, so they communicate with people, and they live in Iraq too. And he was working and living in Baghdad, a specific area in Baghdad called Salmaniya. If you ever went to Baghdad, it still exists until today. I'm assuming this story took place in the 80s, late 80s probably. So this guy fell in love with this girl because she was drop dead gorgeous. Like, he never seen any girl like that before, and he was shocked at the way her brother treated her, and he knew she's miserable. He waited 2 days, and he thought about going and talking to her brother about proposing to her, because in that society they are very conservative. They don't date. So traditionally, if you want to marry a girl, they go through engagement period, and that's the dating time. They are allowed to break the engagement, and each one will walk his own way, or they continue and proceed to the wedding. So the engagement period is to announce to people that this girl is taken, she's reserved for this man, they have intentions to marry. So everybody in the society knows that. So he waited 2 days, and then he went to talk to her brother, and he was really afraid because he beated his sister in public. And they have a reputation by now, the dad and the brother. So he approached the brother. He said, hello, how are you doing? I came here with good intentions. I want to marry your sister. So the brother told him, how do you know my sister? Because he knows she doesn't never leave the house. And this was true, that the Turkmenistani guy sent his mom to that neighborhood to ask about this family, and they told him her mom's dead. They are 3 sisters and just one brother, and they gave him some information on how beautiful they are. And he told him that my mom knows women, and I told her I want to get married, and she picked that girl for me from the neighbors. Her brother said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Turkmenistan, but we moved here with my dad looking for a better life, and we are working in Baghdad now. And we reside in Salmaniya, which is a suburb in Baghdad. Is a very massive city, so there is areas in it. So this is one of them, very famous. It still exists until today. The brother, he told him, I think you should leave now. What you're requesting is impossible. We never give our daughters to non-Kurdish. And the Turkmenistani guy now knows that the rules and some of the social traditions, that you marry only your own people, and they think they are like superior to other nations and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about, probably. So this is one of those silly cultural social things that every sector of the same fabric of the society, everyone thinks they are better than the other one because they have better language or better culture or whatever, or better religion. So the Turkmenistani guy emotionally collapsed, and he had nothing to do because he was afraid of her brother's reaction. So he went to his mom and told her that what his brother told him to do. And he thought that the girl has a say in the matter. He doesn't know the real situation in the house and how suppressed everybody is and locked up. So he told his mom, can you go and talk to her? Maybe she will stand by our side and we can convince her with the marriage if she met me or saw me. The mom told him, are you serious? You want me to go there? What am I supposed to do? He told her, just knock the door and ask to meet her, or ask for some bread, because they are famous with their amazing bread. The mom did as her son told her to do. Next day she knocked at the door, and one of the girls said, who is by the door? And she mentioned the oldest daughter name because they know it from the neighbors. And the oldest daughter, she told her, what do you want? Without opening the door, behind the door, what do you want, ma'am? How can I help you? She told her, I wanna talk to you a little bit. I wanna see your bread. And the girl said, ma'am, I cannot open the door. I'm not allowed to open the door. You can get the bread from my brother coffee shop. So the lady knew that she's never gonna open the door, and she told her behind the door, hey, I'm here for good intentions. We like you so much. I'm the mom of a guy who has good intention to marry you, and we went and spoke with your brother. And as soon as the girl heard that, she opened the door, because it was like something she wanted. She wanted to get out of the house or escape the house or find an excuse to get out of the house, and this is her chance to marry someone and leave the house. So she opened the door. She welcomed the mom. The mom sat down and get to know the girl and told her who's her son and that he want to meet her. Can she see him before she marry him, and if she can talk to her dad. And the daughter didn't talk about her dad intentions, but he told her, my dad is impossible to approve this marriage since your son is Turkmenistani. But the mom told her, can you meet my son? I'll be with him. And the daughter says, impossible, I can't even leave the house. But if he can make sure that my dad is still in the market working, and my brother is still in his coffee shop, then I can meet him secretly. But in public, or he come to our house, or meet my dad and my brother, impossible. The woman arranged for that meeting for the girl with her son, of course with good intentions. There is nothing malicious or dirty planned. He just want to meet her so she see him and get attached to him. And that's what happened. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed. He keeps sneaking in after he makes sure he goes in person to see her dad working at his job in downtown, and her brother is in his shop selling coffee and tea. Then the girl told him, you have to stop coming to the house. Like, we have to figure this out. You can't just come here. We have to get married. And he told her, there is no way. You're a brother. I'm afraid he's going to kill me. She said, well, are you really in love with me? Do you really want to spend your life with me? Are you ready for this and you are going to tolerate all the consequences of our decisions? And he confirmed to her his good intentions, that he has never seen a girl more beautiful than her, and he want to spend his life with her, the rest of his life with her. And they thought that there is no other way but her to sneak out and escape. And that's exactly what happened. Immediately next day, like within 4 days, the 4th or 5th day, they agreed to meet after midnight. She sneaked out of the house and they left, both of them. They got out of Baghdad, they got out of Salmania and the whole area. The father and the brother woke up next day, and the girl is nowhere to be found in the house. So they immediately turn to the two other girls' bedrooms and they start yelling, and the brother attacked both sisters and beat the shit out of them. He thought they will spill the beans and tell him where the sister went, but they confirmed and they were crying that they absolutely don't know where she is. She left without telling anybody where she's going. The girl left outside the city to a very far away part of the country. Iraq is a massive country, so back then in the 80s, I don't think phones did exist for people at that level of there. So the brother kept looking for the sister everywhere, and the news spread everywhere. People were like talking about the matter, and it was a very shameful thing. She brought disgrace to the family. She ran away with a guy, or she left the house, and God knows where she went. They don't know yet that she left with this guy, the Turkmenistani guy. They thought she just escaped. But still, since it's mysterious and nobody knows where she is, if she got kidnapped or if she just ran away with someone or she ran away alone, it's still a disgrace to the family. So back in the days, it's still probably until now, but the government and the society fought this habit. It's really bad, where they call it honor killing. Probably you heard of it. So if the girl brought disgrace or they thought she brought the disgrace to the family name, she gets killed, and that would wash away the family reputation, and everything will come back. Like the family will gain back the power in the society, because if you brought disgrace to the family name, and they lose their position and power in the society. Nobody want to marry them. They are considered a low class family, and it's really hard to go back to where you are. Long story short, back in the days, they used to put a black flag above the house that they are seeking revenge, and they want to wash their name by killing the girl. If they found her, that's what's gonna happen. He looked everywhere. There is no way to find her. In the farms, among people, in the markets, the villages around them, the next city around them. 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed, 5 years passed, 10 years passed, and she never been seen ever again. The girl ended up to be living in a city, still in Iraq, but in somewhere far away, in another big city. And it's easy to get lost in a big city. There is no phones, no home addresses. Until today, they don't have a home addresses in Iraq. I have been there once. I don't know how people know their ways. Probably they describe the places, or they know their way, or I don't know, use taxis. Probably major points, like if you want to go to the airport or something, Google Map can take you there, or a major location, yeah, but still until today there is no home address. Anyway, the brother had a very close friend. He grew up with him. He's like a brother. And one day he was talking with him. He told him, do you remember your sister? Like, how do you think she escaped? What happened that day? This was probably 3 years after her disappearance. Do you remember what happened? Does she know anybody? Is she friends with anybody? He said, no, absolutely nothing. Nothing strange happened, except just one guy asked to marry her, and we rejected him. That's it. He said, oh, do you think he went behind your back and spoke with her and kidnapped her? Or maybe she ran away with him? He said, you think what? I think that's possible. I don't know why I never thought about that. I was so distracted and so angry. His friend told him, do you know his name? Do you know where he lived? He said, yeah, he gave me his full name. I know him. He's from Turkmenistan, and he lives with his mom, he told me. He doesn't have brothers or sisters. So the brother went jogging so fast to the Turkmenistani guy mom, broke the door with his feet, and got inside the house on her, and she freaked the hell out. She said, It's not me, it's him. Please don't hurt me, just go and talk to my son. She just poured it all out without him even asking. Probably she was really scared. She didn't want to be responsible because of the bad reputation that the brother has, because he's known as a thug at this point. Has no mercy, always fighting with anybody, just punching people is the way to communicate when he's angry, and that's it. So the mom tried to defend herself and throw her son under the bus, and she told him, just go and talk to my son, I don't know about anything. He told her, oh, so my friend was right, your son took my sister away and kidnapped her. She said, yeah, but it's not me, just go and talk to him. And he told her, where is your son? She said, I don't know, he just left with her 3 years ago and I don't know where he is. The brother was so mad, he grabbed the woman's neck, squeezed it so hard, and he just strangled her with his own hands. And she died. The woman died. The guy left her in her house, ran so fast back to his house, met his dad, carried the good news to him. He told him, Dad, I think I know what happened. There was a guy who asked my sister for marriage and I kicked him out because he was beneath us. He was talking about him in a demeaning way. And I just met his mom. And the father told him, did you find her? And the son says, no, I didn't find her. I just found his mom and I killed her. I strangled her. And the dad told her, did she give you an address, anything? And the son says, no. The dad was so much in shock by his daughter's disappearance. His health collapsed. He had a stroke, so he's half paralyzed. He cannot walk anymore. The family continued the whole 10 years. The girls grew up. The son kept working in his coffee shop until probably 10, 11 years passed. And the same friend who figured out that the Turkmenistani guy is the one who took the girl and ran away with her, he came to the brother one day to the coffee shop, and he told him, didn't you, it's like 7 years ago, didn't you go to the Turkmenistani guy house and meet his mom? He told him, yeah. He told him, do you remember his face? If you saw him, would you know him? The brother said, yeah, how could I forget that face? Of course I will know him. He said, I know him too. So I saw him in the market shopping 3 cities away from us. And I know that's him 100%. I never seen your sister, so I don't know her, but he has been walking around with a woman, and I know that's him 100%. Do you want to go with me and catch him? He said, absolutely. Absolutely, I want to go with you. Do you know exactly where they are? He said, yeah, I know the city, and I know the market. Immediately, he shut down his store, went to the city where his friend told him about it. Of course, he saw him in the market. And they couldn't find him, so they asked around about him because they know his name. They told him this is his shop, and they told him that's his house, and they gave him the address. Of course, when he entered the house, he didn't knock the door. He just pushed the door with his feet. He kicked it. And usually at that time, traditional homes for poor people in Iraq are made of clay and some cement, and the doors are all wooden until today. You can see that. He kicked the door in and just got in, and immediately he attacked his sister. When she heard the door collapsing on the floor, the noise, she screamed and fainted. Immediately just fainted on the ground because she was that scared. Her husband flee outside the house. He ran as fast as possible and never came back. He of course knew that her brother is gonna kill him, absolutely. So he escaped and left his wife. The sister was fainted and unconscious on the ground. The brother came, of course, with a a big rock, and he started hammering her knees and feet so hard. He smashed them completely because he was screaming, "These feet that let you escape the house, you will never use them again." And she kept fainting and waking up because of the pain, fainting and waking up again, until a little girl came outside in the hallway. If you ever seen a Syrian homes, that's how traditional Iraqi homes are. It's just a big space in the middle of the house with the roof of the house open and the fountain in the middle, and the rooms are around the house, like in a circle. So all rooms are open to each other with a door just closing them. The little girl came out of one of the rooms screaming, "Oh my God, my mom, stop, what's going on?" And the brother stopped immediately. He didn't know that she has a child. She was grown up already. She was almost 10 years old, or 11. And he was shocked. Like he asked her, "Do you have more brothers and sisters?" She said, and she couldn't answer because she was freaked out by the scene, horrible scene, that her mom is being beaten to death. Blood was everywhere, and the mom was already still unconscious. The brother stopped and took the little girl and calmed her down, and didn't know what to do. So after he calmed down himself, he carried her sister to his father's house, to their town in Baghdad, with the little girl with him, and they never came back to that house again. What happened to the sister is that she lost her mind. She became crazy. She had probably a nerve breakdown because of what happened. Her husband leaving her. Her feet are broken, and she can't walk anymore. She lost her mind. So they designated a room for her in the house, and her daughter took care of her and her sisters. I think the father had passed away by that time. He was already paralyzed because he had a stroke, if you remember. When his daughter escaped, he had a stroke and became paralyzed, so he died already. That's what the report says. It was probably a month or two. They never took her to the hospital, so she developed a gargling. I think that's the right name of it. When the flesh doesn't receive good flow of blood, the tissue dies and they turn black and they start to smell. Only then they took her to the hospital, so they amputated her leg so she can't walk anymore. She became a handicap, but she was already mentally gone. And really, really sad story of this woman. So the brother and the sisters designated a room for her where she can sleep. She was there 24/7, and her daughter took care of her, and her sisters took care of her. Now the poor little girl became the nurse to her mom, and her sisters also helped in the house. The father became really old, and he was paralyzed himself. The little girl was completely different than her aunts and uncle. She had a really strong personality. She was really kind and polite, but she knew what she wants, and she wouldn't take no as an answer. The brother fell in love with her. He felt like she's like his own, and he took care of her. So whatever she wanted, she would argue with him and reason with him. Like, he wanted to treat her the same way like her mom and her aunts. For example, when she moved with them, he was telling her, "Hey, you can't go to the school. You would stay at home with your aunts and uncle, with your aunts and mom." She said, "Impossible. I'm in 6th grade. I have to go to school. I have to get educated. And you yourself needed my help a couple times to read the mail or sign papers for you or read contracts. Don't you, uncle? You don't want me to finish my education?" And he thought about it and stayed silent a little bit, and he told her, yeah, you can go to the school. So she kept going to school, and she was really brilliant. She did really well in school. And one day she thought she might help in the house and start working. So she applied to, she contacted this company. She was really smart. She contacted a company that she saw the address on one of her toys. She went to that company and asked them to provide a job for her at that age. The owner of the company started consulting her with every new toy they make, and she gave a really good opinion, and she argued about the specification of each toy and gave her opinion of what could make the toy get better, and they made a lot of money. She was really of a massive use to them. The owner of the company actually treated her very well. He paid her twice as much as any worker just because he knew her story. It's a small town, everybody knows everybody. And the uncle was irritated about the situation, that she leaves the house and go and work as much as she wants and staying late. So he started arguing about her job, and he told her, you can go to school, but you cannot go to this job. The little girl said, no, do you want to meet the boss? Please come and see where I work. It's really safe, there is nothing going on. I'm just dealing with toys, and I'm bringing money to the house. My mom needs meds, and she needs a specific food, and the money you make from the coffee shop is not enough. So I think I should really stay at this job, and we're really getting paid really well. So the uncle went to the manufacturing of this toys manufacturer, and it still exists until today. The guy who told me this story told me that place still exists until today. You can go and see it. He met the owner of the manufacturing place, and he told him, I want to see her office and where she stay, and he showed him the whole place, and he knows the customs and the culture. So he knew that the uncle is concerned about this little girl well-being, and he promised him that he's treating her like if she was his own child. And he even showed him that he's paying her twice as much as the workers that works for him. So the uncle got convinced and let her work. Days passed, and year passed, a year or two or three, and now it's 2003. And you know what happened in 2003? The Iraq got invaded by the Americans. Saddam Hussein regime collapsed. It was a little bit of a chaos, and bombing was going left and right, and it was an active war really everywhere. Karma bit the uncle ass finally, and he got bombed. I think his store or the store next to him, it was the wall next to him or his store itself, it got bombed and it got completely destroyed. He got severely injured. By some miracle he survived the bombing, and I think his limbs were gone. They got amputated, all of them. And guess where he ended? Eventually he ended in the same room where his sister is laying. He needed full service 24/7. He cannot eat, he cannot walk, and I think he got injured in his head too. So either he lost his mind and became crazy like his sister because of his situation, or he got severely injured in his head, so he got cognitively affected. And the father, after a while, passed away himself too because of old age, and he was paralyzed himself. So now the sisters are free to do whatever they want, since the brother cannot do anything to them anymore. They both got married from really wealthy men, because they were really pretty girls. So they left the house and they never came back to it again to see their brother. Why would they come back? They would contact their little niece here and there, but the girl never married. She grew up, and she just kept herself to serve her uncle and her mom, and that's the least we know about this little girl. And that's the end of our story. Please leave comments if you have any, and please like and support the channel, because that makes it spread everywhere. Liking the channel and writing a comment if you have any. Take care and see you next story. Bye bye.